Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
How does Tanner usually start? And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you got to high pitch it a little bit. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Dave and I are off the rails again on our own. I can't believe anyone lets us do that and trusts us to do that. And we are here at Farm Progress Show for another beautiful, hot day. Not much air moving. But I tell you what, if you were here the day before on setup, it was 12 degrees warmer. And, I about fainted that day.
It was brutal.
It was a good one. So, as always, we want you guys to go like, rate, review. Please leave us some reviews. 5 stars only. Then you can type whatever
anything
you
want.
Yep. And then you could also call or text us. Leave us voicemail, 515-207-9640. And Tanner gets that. So please blow them up, especially like in the middle of the night. And you got that little option to, it says notification silenced, but you can notify anyway.
Yeah,
hit that. So it definitely notifies them. So what do you think, Dave?
I think if you are not familiar with Farm for Profit podcast, we do 2 kind of episodes. We do one kind of episode that is all about profitability. How can you make more money on your farm, what to watch for, et cetera, et cetera. And then later in the week, we come out with Farm for Fun, where we might just interview a random guest, learn something about them, drink some beer, and that's the way it works.
Yep. So today we have 2 guests from Brandt, Kyle and Kurt. Welcome, guys, to the show. Let's start with Kyle. Give us a little background about who you are, what you do for Brandt, and how you got there.
Are you ready to power through your harvest? Meet the Maya corn heads. They're designed for maximum efficiency and unmatched durability in the toughest of conditions.
With precision engineering and advanced features, Maya corn heads ensures every kernel counts, giving you the performance and reliability that you need. Get more from your harvest with equipment built to last.
Reach out to your local Maya Cornheads dealer or visit mayacornheads.com to find your perfect match today. Maya Cornheads, harvest with confidence.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having us, guys. I'm Kyle Bennett. I'm the U.S. sales manager for Brandt over the ag product line on the manufacturing side of the business. I've been with Brandt for about 7.5 years now. So
7.5 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And you live where now?
Just outside of Kansas City, Lawson, Missouri. Yeah.
Okay. So you're not Canadian?
Not Canadian, no.
Okay.
No A's in this sentence.
What did you do before Brandt?
I worked for an irrigation company out of Nebraska, manufacturer's rep for them for a couple years, and before that was some John Deere dealerships and school. So
you've been around, you know a thing or two?
Yeah.
All right.
I think I do anyway.
Kurt, what about you?
Yeah, thanks for having me as well. Kurt Boris, I'm the Director of Product Marketing, so I cover all of our manufactured products, which includes our ag products, but extends into our construction and purpose-built product lines as well that Brandt covers. Been with the company about 8 years now. Work primarily on the ag side. For a couple of years now, I've been overseeing the whole portfolio, run a team of guys that are working with our sales teams, working with our internal marketing teams, making sure we're talking about our products the way that we want to and the way that our customers understand them, and selling the value on that side of it. Been around the farm all my life. Grew up on a small grains farm in Western Canada, so I'm based out of Regina, Saskatchewan, where our head office is. Worked for a number of different ag companies coming up out of school. Dabbled with tech for a little bit. Got used to doing some digital products and stuff like that, but it's always been tied into marketing and product development, and that's kind of where I'm sitting these days in Brandt, too.
And if somebody ever wants to visit Regina,
yes.
If you ever want to go there, Corey, Western Canadian Agribition is right there in town. Been up there. Auction contest, of course. It was a great time. It's almost like this event we're at today, but more livestock-based and even bigger when you talk agriculture in Canada.
Yeah, when we've been invited by a lot of our listeners. We have a lot of listeners in Canada that want us to come north of the border, but haven't been invited by anybody to get us up to a show yet. We've been invited to shear sheep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And just a lot of people just want us to come drink beer for some reason.
Of course,
but,
plenty.
But never to a show. So maybe that's a show that we should go to.
We need somebody with a plane. That's what we need. I'll get a pilot's license. We get a plane. We'll fly anywhere anybody wants.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I am genuinely interested. You mentioned the Brandt portfolio. And when I think of Brandt, I think of GrainCarts and augers and belts and rollers and things like that, tillage tools. But you said portfolio. And when I went to the website once, I'm like, oh, this is way bigger than I ever thought it was. Just to give us a 30,000-foot view of what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been around for 80-plus years as a manufacturing company. We got our start in agriculture, making grain augers and handling products there. But ever since the mid-'90s, we got into the dealership side of the business as well as manufacturing. We're the world's largest John Deere construction and forestry dealership. So all of Canada, 56 stores, covers our construction forestry side of the business, and then we extend into Australia and New Zealand as well with dealerships that we run there on that side. We recently, a few years ago, got into the agricultural dealership side of things, selling John Deere out of the ag stores as well. We're also in the Peterbilt truck industry as well with dealerships throughout Canada and New Zealand on that side of it too. So very diverse just even on the dealership side of it. And then you flip over to my world within manufacturing. Lots of ag products that we're here and well known for throughout the U.S. and Canada. But we also deal with construction attachments for the John Deere machines that we sell through the dealerships and manufacture there, as well as purpose-built machines. We do everything from a hydro excavator truck on a Peterbilt chassis to a scrap material handler for scrapyard recycling operations. So large John Deere-based machines that we work very closely with a valued partner like John Deere and use donor source machines to convert into purpose-built construction, scrap handling, pipe layers. In the oil and gas industry, we're kind of all over the board with that. But do a lot of business with very unique customers throughout our dealership side of the business. We're always looking for an opportunity to say, where is something that original manufacturer doesn't provide a solution for our valued customer, and how can we get in and close that loop a little bit with something that's very specific and neat for us.
So I didn't know you for 90 years. Okay,
Yep.
that's awesome. And I didn't know you had anything to do when I
Been
didn't.
alive for 90 years.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't know you had anything to do with construction side of the world.
Right.
The question I was going to ask is, what is the piece of your guys' brand that flies off the shelf that everybody would know?
I guess in which industry are we talking?
Yeah, let's go agriculture first.
Sure.
Yeah, so on the ag side, definitely in the U.S., it's our swing augers and our field belt conveyors is the most well-known products throughout the U.S. And, as you can see, we're expanding that out as well. But those are kind of what started in the U.S. for sure.
I got you. And what about the construction side? So is it attachments?
Yeah, I'd say it's primarily attachments with our close relationship selling Deere products back in Canada and overseas. So, again, really unique position. We make a very purpose-built suite of attachment products that suit the Western Canadian market and I should say the entire Canadian market and some of the unique climates and geographies that we operate in up there. So that really sets us apart for our customer base in Canada.
Are you making attachments for tractors or like skid loaders or like stump grinders and that kind of stuff, or go deeper? I'm digging deeper here.
We got a full range of buckets for full line of John Deere equipment. So you're talking about dig buckets and clean out buckets and everything, thumbs and grapples, everything in between for wheel loaders, excavators, compact construction equipment.
So even a little bigger machines. Okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if it goes on the front of a piece of yellow iron, we tend to make it. So.
Got it.
Yep.
All right, let me do Tanner, and let's reel it back into agriculture
Yes.
now, because I think that's the lane that we're trying to stay in. We are at the Farm Progress Show.
I'm going to disagree, though, man. There is a lot of construction that goes over into ag.
Absolutely. There is a great crossover, but last time we talked to you, I think it was a while ago, and crop prices were a lot higher than they are now.
Right.
And if you ordered something, you'd have to wait months, maybe years for stuff. How's the current demand looking in this environment?
Yeah, so the demand for the grain handling stuff is still there. As harvest is coming along, everybody's still got crop to move, and they don't last forever. So the demand is strong for the grain handling stuff. Probably your bigger, more luxury items, your grain carts, your tillage and stuff. Maybe that's down a little more than what the good times were last time we talked.
Right.
Guys tend to stretch those out a little more. But when the auger breaks down, it's either go find one that's sitting on the lot or try to fix your old one, and usually the quicker solution is you go pick up one that your dealer has.
And then, so with demand, we need to talk supply. Has supply been well?
Yeah, the supply's great right now. Everybody seemed to catch up all at the same time over COVID, and we're sitting in a really good spot with inventory and supply. So
Prices down, up, flat? Where are we looking at from a couple years ago?
Yep. So we're getting really aggressive on our rebates. The prices are pretty flat, but we are offering some really attractive rebates across the whole product line.
Okay, because I will say I just bought a Brandt 1545 top drive.
Top drive,
Yep. Haven't picked it up yet, but the reason that I pulled the trigger on it was because it was older pricing. It was on the lot already and came with a motor and all that. Even though it's a single phase, I want to go 3-phase on the farm, but I could actually get that, use that motor on some other stuff, and put my own on there, and it's already wired, and yeah, it'll be great. So it was like a couple grand cheaper than what he quoted me for a new one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Savvy buyer.
So that's Tilly belt style, right?
A what belt?
I call it Tilly belt, or just a belt driven rather than an auger driven.
Yep. And I'm planning to use that. We've had seed beans for years. We always have to pay 15 cents a bushel to hire a grain vac to come in because our grain vac would not meet the needs of the truckers that are hauling it out.
And it's just going to be more gentle on your seed beans, correct?
You don't want
and
to
not bust them up.
Yeah. You know, if you're just taking beans to get crushed, it doesn't really matter if you split a couple of them or, a little rough. But seed beans, they need a whole bean to plant next year.
Yep.
Right.
So every auger, every piece of metal that touches that bean coming out of the field, they don't like to see it go through. They'd rather see a draper head than an auger head. They'd rather see no freaking augers on the combine, but you just can't.
Yep.
But what they like is like the corner augers. They don't like dual augers and the bigger ones because anytime you can have beans on beans flowing through and not on metal helps.
Right.
Once it goes in the bin, it's a belt or a vac that they want.
Yep.
So,
Is that something you see in U.S. sales as one of the bigger products, or is it more? Is it grain handling all around?
Yeah, grain handling all around. In Corey's instance, any of the seed growers and stuff, they really benefit from that belt just because, like you said, they're having to pay somebody to come in, or there's been seed companies in the past that if you're using a belt, they offer a premium on that, and some of the programs back then, a few years would pay for the belt,
It's all about making money.
I like decisions that you can put data behind it really easy and just write it out on, it's a math problem. It's like, it makes sense.
Right. 3 years,
and
I got to pay
bankers
for
like
it. Yep.
that. Yep. Dad likes that, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
There's your biggest fan, Dave.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, man. I want to talk a little bit about the grain cart that I had last fall. It was pretty dang cool. You got my picture. I didn't know you guys were going to do that. That was about 20 pounds ago.
Yeah.
You got me looking a little thick up there. But that thing was awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to need that joystick on there. I'm like, I don't need that. And all of a sudden, all my grain cart operators, if that wasn't working or something, or had to go back to the old cart, they're like, nah, I ain't running it.
Nice.
And it's got that long stick on it, comes up out of the corner, and instead of, Dave, you would never know this because you haven't ran a grain cart. You used to have to crank your head past 45 degrees, back behind you, and at the end of the day, your neck would be stiff.
Yep.
And these long sticks come down, and you just have to just look that way, about right at the door, pretty much.
Well, I remember your TikTok video you were making with the joystick and just talking about it because you guys upgraded your combine, so you have more capacity, more volume.
Yep.
Then you needed some more capacity to get it back to the farm.
Yep.
And then now you still have a pinch point in the middle, but you kind of were solving all of those pinch points in the middle, and this was one of those solutions, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And what I learned also is you guys actually make these in the U.S.
Absolutely.
Where at?
We have our facility based in Hudson, Illinois, just outside of Bloomington there. It's a dedicated cart facility, so all of our grain carts are coming out of that factory.
Of them, even the ones in Canada?
Yeah, they're coming back to Canada that way too.
Why did a Canadian company decide to come manufacture in the U.S. when there's U.S. companies that are going elsewhere?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a strategic move on our part. We have been in the U.S. selling products for a long time now, but having a presence here locally, right in the heart of the Midwest, made a lot of sense for us. Distribution is a big advantage for it then too. Yes, all those carts are coming back to Canada where we have really strong brand presence, but if you're looking to grow and push and really develop the market, having that local presence on the ground for parts distribution, access to product is a huge advantage on our side.
Yep.
People like to work with people they trust all day long and brands, and so what better way to establish that than relationships?
Yep.
So,
Do you guys give tours there?
We do. Yeah. I'll have to get you guys over there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I try to stay out of Illinois as much as I can, and Nebraska, but I guess I could come over for
Sneak
that.
over there for
I was
that.
going to
Yeah.
say, you try to stay or they try to keep you out?
They probably try to keep me out. More, they have a river in between us.
Yeah.
That's right.
They know I can't
so
swim.
as you guys are building this stuff, I know Corey and I geek out on equipment even if I don't know what it does, and so we kind of love to go around shows like this, and he's like, what do you think that does? And I say, well, I don't know, but I would have built it this way or done this, and I wouldn't have used pop rivets there. I might have bolted that, or et cetera, et cetera. I don't think the flow would be as easy. How about supply chain? So it was a way. Now it's back. I know Corey kind of alluded to it on the front, but are you having trouble?
I think we're pretty steady at that point now. We've grown substantially over the last even 5 years with our dealership expansion. It allowed us to get a lot more sophisticated and progressive with how we're sourcing and supplying components, developing really strong relationships with our suppliers. Since some of that downturn that we saw throughout the pandemic and whatnot, we have really pushed and solidified our supply chain on that.
Gotcha.
Sure.
And then the second part of that is it is just like I'm talking. We walk around and whatnot, and farmers. There's a lot of farmers are very innovative. They know this is not going to work because of this. Do you guys have some kind of like internal like checks and balances? Like, well, hey, Dave gave us a suggestion on this. It actually was a good idea, but how do we implement it? Is there like a tie with the community of agriculture and construction on that?
Absolutely. We value that the customer's voice throughout our development process, above all else within it. There's no stronger advocate than our own users and customers, and I think every company here at the show would say that, but we take it very much to heart. And there's no better example of the fact that Corey's talking about his forward reach auger on his XT grain cart.
Yeah.
Somebody that's missing here, Tanner.
You're not supposed to call it big stick?
Yeah.
Somebody had a sore neck at one time.
Tanner was on our customer advisory group for the development of that project. I had reached out to him through social media and developed a little bit of a conversation there, and we got him involved and picked his brain quite a bit with a number of other customers throughout the couple of years that we were developing that product there. And really, we try to go and seek users of our product, some guys that have some loyalty and awareness of our product, but we go out and we try and find just as many guys that are using competitive product to understand kind of what they do really well, where some of the opportunities may lay for us, and we bring them in multiple times throughout our development of that product, reviewing concepts, going through actual designs, validating things that maybe we're assuming versus just knowing through data and whatnot, but and then getting their feedback all along and having them work directly with our engineering team, working directly with our sales team, with the boots on the ground guys, just to make sure that we're not missing some of those obvious points. In fact, not 30 minutes ago, we were on the phone as a group with the engineering team about some things that we noticed on a product that we're making tweaks to right now, going, hey, if we just do it like this, we've heard a couple things here at the show. We've talked to a few of the sales guys that have been selling more of these products than anybody else right now.
Here's what they got
Let's
to say.
make the changes on the fly as we go right now, kind of thing.
Gotcha. And then just a random question.
Yeah.
Regulatory. Corey was just asking you about being U.S. built. Every time I go to Canada, of course, we go through security, etc. And do we have this, or did we bring this? And there's duty-free stuff there. Is it easier to bring equipment from U.S. to Canada or from Canada to U.S.?
I don't know. Kyle's looking at me on that side.
What's the regulatory body on that? I'm just curious.
I think for the most part with domestically manufactured product, there's not really any hiccups that I've been ever aware of on that side of it. I mean, there's a set of standards and rules that you follow, but they're not difficult to follow.
I didn't know if there was tariffs and bring stuff in or whatnot.
No.
I know you guys want the relationship and U.S. made, which is awesome. So
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
So 10 years ago, I maybe would have seen a blue auger around here and there. Knew what it was, didn't know anything else. So now I mean, it's hard to drive by 5 farms and not see something that's Brandt. How has that growth been?
Fast and exciting. Yeah.
So what changed it? You just
10 years ago, we would have had, independent reps kind of running around, and independent reps rep 10 different brands of different things. And probably 8 years ago, kind of right when Kurt started, we changed our focus and started hiring, dedicated Brandt employees to go into these territories and really build up the dealer network. And Brandt, being as aggressive and growth-oriented as they are, they've came out with some really great dealer programs. We partnered with a lot of different dealers throughout the country, and really was able to get in there and provide them equipment and support them in the sales of this. And it's just, really expanded, especially, from the last 10 years. So.
Well, as we've got the opportunity to interview people from across the country, there's different brands in different places, and a lot of it is that I can service it. It is that I have parts for it. We were talking with some dealers last night about that, and how much inventory do I need to keep, and what parts do I need to keep, and et cetera. And so sometimes we as decision makers, that's a big portion of the decision. So as you guys have moved into that I'm sure has helped grow the business to have those dealer networks with parts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, support's everything, right? It's not if it breaks, it's when. And partnering with good dealer groups that are really, stand behind our product and support us. it really makes that customer satisfaction that much better.
Yep. One thing, me as a farmer, and I don't mean to call you guys a short line dealer, but maybe not one of the major, you don't have an X9 sitting on your lot, right? I get worried about resale. How's resale been? Has it been holding up compared to everything else?
Yeah, the resale on the Brandt equipment's been really good. So, the augers and conveyors and stuff have been around for long enough now that the Brandt name's well known. That especially like conveyors and stuff, they hold up so well that the resale value is really good. So.
See, I knew that. I'm just a good podcast host because I actually just sold a Brandt auger for a neighbor.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have it on there for a day, and I had 3 people that were willing to give full price.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, that's too low, and I raised the price $1,000.
Was that your grain deck you were selling?
So the blue one, the drive over?
Yeah,
that's not mine. That was neighbor's. Yep.
Yeah.
And so he actually messaged me today and said, the first guy was a scam. Went to the next guy. Yep, I'll get him a check tonight.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the grain deck is a prime example of units that hold their value. I mean, we got, we had a guy in the booth this week. He's like, I can go buy a used one for $17,500, and I'm like, we can buy this new one for $3,000 more. Like,
Yep.
It's crazy how well they.
That's got to make it easy for sales.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So that's why you stick with good quality brands, because you can sell them and you can buy the next one and it's going to be just as good.
Here at Farm for Profit, we believe that great crops start with great partnerships. Ag Explorer is a family-owned company focused on providing the gold standard in plant nutrition, backed by cutting-edge agronomy education.
They're not just selling products, they're helping farmers achieve long-term success with innovative solutions that improve yields and soil health. Trust the experts who care as much about your farm as you do. That's Ag Explorer, where family values meet innovation in the field.
So you guys have an outlook for the next 5 to 10 years for, let's start with Brandt. What's the outlook?
I think it's generally positive, right? We continue to grow and expand very aggressively. We have a private ownership group that has eyes on big goals, right? Worldwide. That includes our manufacturing division, that includes our dealership division. Looking to grow and continue to build the relationships within all the dedicated industries that we operate in. And I think it's that motivation from the family-owned business aspect that really pushes everybody within the company to kind of achieve those same goals. And I think it's positive. We've stuck through and survived quite a few ups and downs in the industry, whether that's on the construction side or definitely here on the ag side for sure. And we haven't gone away, and we haven't shrunk back from the challenge by any means, so we keep pushing forward, and generally a really good outlook.
So coming from Canada, I will say we Americans in the United States get a little tunnel vision that it's our crop, it's our everything, and our equipment, but having just gone on vacation out of country, there's a world perspective here, and so I'm thinking Regina, I'm thinking canola, nothing to do with we're in the heartland here, corn and beans all day long, but when I think of canola, we might be having our prices a little lower right now, or our market's a little lower. Do you have a feel for the whole world and what the economy is of scale there? I know it's a loaded question.
I was going to say it's a lot to put on my shoulders as just a product guy on that side.
We're going to get a crystal ball and we're just going to make it blurry. That's all we're going to do.
I'd say definitely Canada and even worldwide, we're experiencing a lot of the same challenges that we're seeing down here for sure with commodity prices. We had some really good years recently with crop prices back home and around the world, and things aren't always going to stay where they are in the good times on that side of it. But there's still a lot of general optimism. Our crops are looking great back home. We've heard good things from overseas and Australia as well too. So I mean that's going to put the optimism in the farmers' hands a little bit, right? And we work with that.
Yep. So this show probably won't air for a while since we've done so many shows here.
Batch recorded.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be down always. Is there anything that's coming in the next few months that you could hint that's something new, a new feature? Give us a little nugget.
Yeah, for sure. I'll try and say something that doesn't get me in trouble with my higher-ups, that's for sure.
Earmuffs.
Yeah, no. Greg would probably be happy over there looking at me. He's excited for me as a few things that are on their horizon. I think the big thing for Brandt right now is doubling down on our commitment to the quality of standard product that we put out there right now. We definitely have always got something in the pipeline, whether it's new versions of what's kind of gotten our success levels to where they are right now, or looking for the next great idea. I mean, that's why we have people like myself and the number of other guys that are coming down to the booth right now that are out there walking through the show right now, talking to customers, talking to other manufacturers and dealers alike, just seeing where things are moving. What are those growing needs? The big companies like Deere do a great job of fulfilling their core customers' needs. But there's always an opportunity that's kind of lies a little bit deeper for companies like Brandt to take advantage of on that side of it, and we work really hard to make sure that we're committed to filling those needs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to try something new here. We haven't done this, but I'm going to try it. What I want you guys to do is elevator pitch, okay? So short answer and then a short reason why. So we're rolling into harvest. So I'll go, Kurt, you answer first. What is one product you think that our listeners need and why?
Going into harvest?
Yep, going into harvest.
One of our Brandt grain belts for sure. The harvest grain belt, if you're growing any sensitive crops or anything like Corey was mentioning, that you're going to experience any type of dockage or anything like that that affects your world, I'd say get into our grain belts.
All right, Kyle, what do you got for harvest?
Yep, I would say, to partner with that, just making sure that you have a good swing auger, and and really get the highest capacity one that you can get the most throughput with. A lot of times the main hang-up point is at the auger, and if takes a while for the trucks to get back, you're slowing down the grain cart, you're slowing down the combine. So utilizing one of our augers is...
Let's move forward. Let's go to just after harvest. What do you got?
I'd say our HighSpeed Disc.
Okay.
It's a big, huge entry into...
And I have a disc already, so why?
There you go. I would say elevator pitch-wise, we have the most consistent and ground engagement with any high-speed disc on the market. We put a lot of detail into that and achieving, coming in late to the market to the high-speed disc space. We learned a lot from everybody that's out there. We got to cherry pick a lot of really good things and develop some
very good
innovations on our side as well.
That's good. How about you? Anything different?
Yep. Since he said disc, I'll say a field belt like the 1545 that Corey just bought, being able to get that grain out of the bin and into your elevator.
What about looking into spring?
I mean, I got a lot of good Canadian products I can throw out there that don't really have the established presence down here. Getting into spring, open up the fields. You can't beat a good heavy harrow when you're dealing with cereal crops, but I'll speak a little bit more down here too. I mean, you can keep on that. I would say land rollers are a really good one coming into spring post-planting, getting out there, making sure that you're dealing with any ruts or uneven fields, and we offer a really good, again, ground-engaging tool that gives you a good, consistent field finish.
Yep. I will.
And
I
you
will
do
echo,
that.
I will echo the roller.
You run over your beans all the time.
I've used a few different kinds of rollers, and this thing is built. I'm going to tell you that right now. It screams confidence that nothing is going to break.
Yep. Okay, so if that's the case, I can't pull it with my little engine that could. How much John Deere tractor do I need to pull their roller?
It's not that.
It's not pulling; it's stopping.
Yeah.
Okay. How much weight do I need in front of it?
Yeah.
Probably a 7 Series or better, huh?
Oh, my Chevy 2500 actually pulled it down the road.
Will it? Okay.
From a while away. So.
Yeah, I mean right around that 200 horse is usually enough. Like you said, main thing is just stopping it. So.
Okay, very good. So he gives roller in spring. Is there anything else you're thinking on the U.S. market for spring?
Yeah, I mean you could even echo the high-speed disc just as one last through to get your seed bed prep done in the spring as well. So
okay, now let's change from season to money-wise. So we're farm for profit. If you had one piece of your equipment that would help me be more profitable, save money, save time, however we want to value money, what's your thoughts?
Grain cart.
Grain cart.
Yeah, with all the time we put into developing our single auger grain cart and our dual auger grain cart, it's kind of a linchpin at harvest. Now, Kyle touched on an auger. It's your bottleneck for most operations, but having a dependable grain cart in the field servicing one or multiple combines just keeps the entire operation moving on time and in sync.
I'm putting you a little on the spot here, but do you have how many years to pay that off?
I don't have that number off the top of my head, to be honest with you, but
I guess it's different for every operation.
Where you get into valuing.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables there, but I mean, we try to keep those things in mind when we're developing it, so it can be calculated into a customer's ROI for sure.
How about your favorite or easiest sale? Which piece?
I'd say the easiest one for me is the fully loaded field belts with the self-contained units. We take them out to a guy that maybe wants one without it and say, here, try this, and it hardly ever leaves.
Yeah, hardly ever.
Yeah, they're great units.
They are cool.
Yeah, I get the benefit of not having to sell and having all the pressure on it. The one I like talking about most, it's a field belts for sure. High-speed discs have a lot to offer, a lot of good, unique value. Grain carts as well. I'll echo it. I'll stay on that side of it. They just are an undervalued piece of the harvest operation for sure.
How about for and I don't know, so correct me if I'm off here, but not looking at your website yet, do you have any hay equipment?
No.
Is there anything that goes into that side of the world?
Nope, nothing for hay or livestock side. No.
Well, I mean, it's an indirect application. I've been looking for a good opportunity to squeeze this one into the conversation, and it kind of ties back into something with you, Dave, is even just in transportation and logistics in general, whether it's hay or anything else that you're moving on the product, we have a full line of equipment hauling trailers now. Everything from the small 8-ton tilt deck or 5-ton car equipment hauler type trailer all the way up into, we do low boy heavy hauls as well.
Oh, really?
Right?
Okay,
so we're,
very good.
again, that's part of that diversified portfolio of products that we manufacture. But getting a heavy-duty, well-built trailer that we design around construction contractors' needs, but being able to find a place for that on the farm, whether it's moving the skid loader, whether it's throwing a few bales of hay on it, whatever it may be.
Love it.
It's just a great gap-filling product kind of thing for us.
So what's been getting the most traffic at the show?
That big 2,000 bushel grain cart right at the front as soon as you walk in has been lots of videos and pictures of that thing. And then one of our low boys are over there this year too. We got a 45-ton low boy with one of our single auger carts on the trailer.
Okay.
That's been a really good showpiece as well. So.
As we move forward in evolution, farming, years ago we were horse and plow, okay? Look where we are today. We got billions of dollars worth of equipment sitting here. What's the future look like? And I'm going to go specifically automation-wise. What is there anything that Brandt's doing automation-wise that will help us?
Yeah, for sure. We've taken technology to heart. I mean, I think you were hesitant to say short line equipment earlier.
Right.
I'd say a lot more people will say it's the dumb iron of the farm and that side of it. And I say that with love in my heart and that side of it. But technology is the next big play for us. I mean, we've seen it from the innovations that we've made in our electric swing hoppers, on our swing augers and our harvest belts, to some of the automation systems that we're now baking into our grain carts with the joystick operation, but then the scale systems that we're doing it. And we've worked very closely with some of our technology partners that supply the hardware and some of the software for that for us. But now we're seeing some of those same companies taking big steps forwards on their own with autonomous grain carts and different things like that. So we're in a really good place with a strong internal development team, but really valued partners that are already working in these spaces, and we're really confident that we're going to be in a good position.
And you made me think of that because you were talking about the capacity, and I think we're almost to capacity because of infrastructure of roads and how wide we can go and how big we can go and weight limits, that I tend to think towards the future as we expand our operations and get other acres and hectares other places, we might just need multiple sets of equipment. So now we're multiple sets, and maybe they're smaller, but they're all automated to, hey, let's harvest at the same time, simultaneously on 7 different farms. My prediction is we're going to go that way, smaller, more efficient, because they're all operating at the same time. So hence my question. But thanks, guys.
No, I think that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, for sure.
Great.
Well, what do we miss? Anything else that you give us your final thoughts and what you want to get out there?
Well, thank you for being on the show. It's a really good opportunity for us to come in and talk about, the value that Brandt provides to all of our customers. But I've been really excited to be down here. As the Western Canadian guy coming down from head office, I love getting down here to Iowa, and then, when we alternate over into Decatur and stuff in Illinois, it's just always a good time. It reaffirms kind of the assumptions that I have to make thinking about the U.S. Market on that side of it, and making sure we have the right product for what you guys need down here as well as back home on that side of it.
Yep.
So if Canada is America's hat, what is America to Canada? Like in reverse, is there a redheaded stepchild south of the line?
Here comes the stereotype.
No. I'd say America's the foundation that we're here for on that side of it. You keep us propped up on that side of it.
I wonder if that's the same answer when he goes north.
They might
change at 7 o'clock tonight.
Catch him tonight at the party and ask
Yeah, exactly.
One more thing. I need to know where to find you guys. Every listener, where do they go? What's easy?
Yep, so www.brandt.ca. So have all of our info there.
And it's NDT, BRANDT, correct?
That's right.
Perfect.
Yep.
Very crucial. Well, Kyle, Kurt, thanks for joining us, coming down on this hot day. It was great.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for having us.
So listeners, have a good one.